Today we're diving into the origin story of one of the most ambitious projects humanity has ever attempted, the United Nations. It was meant to be a blueprint for global peace, but really, how do you even start to build something like that?
Well, to get the UN's design, you have to start with the one question that haunted its founders. After the single most destructive war in human history, the question was simple and desperate. How do you stop it from ever happening again? That question right there is the key to everything.
To understand their answer, you have to see the world that the UN was born into. And believe me, it wasn't a world filled with hope and optimism. It was a world in pieces. I mean, just try to imagine the scene in 1945. Entire cities were just rubble. Tens of millions of people were dead. Economies completely shattered. And this wasn't just physical destruction. It was a deep, profound crisis of faith in the whole international system. The world was well and truly broken.
You see, the world had actually tried this before. Remember the League of Nations after World War I? It was, to put it mildly, a catastrophic failure. It was just too weak to stop powerful countries from doing whatever they wanted. So the architects of this new post-war order, they knew this time had to be different. This couldn't just be another talking shop. It had to be a real framework for collective action, with rules that actually meant something.
So, with the lessons of that failure burned into their minds, the Allied powers started designing this new organization. And get this, they didn't wait for the war to end. They started building the blueprint for peace while the fighting was still raging.
The whole journey from just an idea to a real thing happened incredibly fast. It started as this whisper of a new vision way back in 1941, grew into a solid wartime promise by 42, and then it all came together in this frantic, high-stakes conference in San Francisco. For 2 months, 50 nations hammered out the final charter. And then on October 24, 1945, the United Nations was officially born.
Okay, so what exactly was this brand new organization built to do? What was its fundamental purpose?
Its mission really stands on 4 interconnected pillars. The first one is the one we all think of, keeping the peace. But the founders were smart. They understood that peace isn't just the absence of war. So they added 3 other absolutely crucial goals: fostering friendly relations, protecting human rights, and promoting economic and social progress. The whole idea was to tackle the root causes of conflict, not just put out fires.
Now, a mission that ambitious needs a pretty ambitious structure to back it up. So how was this thing actually built? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the architecture.
At its core, the UN's architecture is built on 6 main bodies, or organs. But to really understand how it works, and, where the real power is, we only need to focus on 2 of them, because the relationship between these 2 really defines the whole organization.
Think of it like this: the General Assembly. That's the world's town hall. Every single member state gets a seat, gets a vote. It's this massive forum for debate. But the Security Council, that's the executive committee. It's a small, powerful group designed to be the world's emergency first responders, making decisions that are binding on everyone. And this quote, this really gets to the core compromise at the very heart of the UN. On the one hand, you have this incredible, soaring aspiration to prevent war. But on the other hand, you have the cold, hard reality of 1945, that the world's real power was held by just a handful of victorious nations.
And that cold reality led directly to this number, 5, the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. Now, this is where we find the UN's master bargain. To get these global powers to join the club, and maybe more importantly, to stay in the club, they were given a unique and, a hugely controversial power, the veto. It was a pragmatic deal that gives the Council its teeth, but it's also been its greatest source of paralysis ever since.
So when you put all these pieces together, you start to see that the UN was never meant to be some perfect, finished product. It's an ongoing, constantly evolving global experiment.
Its real work isn't just about debates in New York. It's about the blue-helmeted peacekeepers on the ground. It's about aid workers delivering food and medicine in a crisis. It's about quiet diplomacy brokering peace deals, and the slow, steady work of building a framework of international law. It's a messy, complex system for sure, with big successes and big failures, but it is still the main tool the world has for collective action.
And that leaves us with a final massive question. The UN's entire architecture was a brilliant response to a world war fought with tanks and planes, but is that same 1945 design equipped to handle the challenges of our century? We're talking about things like climate change, pandemics, cyber warfare. Is the blueprint still fit for purpose? That is the question the world is grappling with right now, and the answer, well, it's going to define our future.